Warning, this show contains psychological trauma including claustrophobia, panic attacks, mind control, severe anxiety and misophonia, and violent and harm to character, depiction of dead bodies and blood. Viewer discretion is advised.
W Void 666.6 FM. The Broadcasting Center, our public broadcasting station, has been closed recently due to unreported sightings. However, a strange phenomenon has brought the station back to life. Anyone out there listening, we hope you might discover what it is one day. However, know that this report is not real, and anything you're hearing cannot be trusted. We welcome you to 666 FM, the public broadcasting station. From an unknown building, thought to be abandoned somewhere on the edge of town. Late at night, some college kids hear this. Some late night officers, some nurses, anyone listening to the radio. A long dead station, something that hasn't broadcast in 20-something years, puts out a call, thanking listeners for listening. That station, however, is remote and has been reported to be condemned. Something strange happened there decades ago. Their children's programming no longer on air, their family reports not given out anymore, and their once famous music center shut down with nothing coming out of it. Until last night, when a call to action, a call for thanks, and seemingly one final sign-off came again from the public broadcasting station. One student, abandoned by her group, has decided to bravely still go check it out for a school project and maybe reasons of her own. We'll find out about that as we go. But welcome, Winnie, to the public access broadcasting station. Who are you and what do you look like?
Outside the station, you will see Winnie out of breath. That was a long trek here. And she'll pull out her camcorder to film herself. Winnie is wearing a maroon top with like flowery designs and stars all over it in gold threads. She's wearing a jean skirt. She's wearing a jean skirt and stockings and some tennis shoes. Her hair is very curly and long black. She is a black woman too. She's wearing glasses. She has a few like kind of pimples coming out that she tried to cover up with some patches. As she takes a deep breath, talking to her camcorder. Greetings, everyone. I am Winifred Crawford. This is for Miss Sampson's class for in video theory knowledge. And I'm doing my project with my team. They're definitely here, my team, when we're going to talk about this abandoned TV station that seemingly has gone off air, but a broadcast has happened, and I'm here to investigate how this broadcast phenomena happened. So it could have been a fluke, it could have been a pre-recording, it could have been a lost record. We don't know, but that's where I'm here to figure out. So tune in, Miss Sampson's class.
And in the back of your video found from your 1990s camcorder, you would see a building, single level. There's a rooftop that has some satellites and stuff on it, but it doesn't seem too involved in anything. The display on it is very 1950s Americana. It's got large curving wooden structures, glass windows, most of them seemingly still intact, and just a general vibe of an old sitcom where you would find something calming. By the time the studio went out of date in the 70s, it was also already, out of business in the 70s. It was already a little out of date. The furniture not quite updated past a late 50s, early 60s lounge vibe. The stranger thing is how interrupted the ground in front of it is. There are, of course, the safety precautions put in, the large concrete blocks and the chain link fence around the exterior, hoping that nobody will cross and trespass. It is still technically owned by someone, and it is public land that it sits upon. But that land is shattered. Where you would expect a parking lot, you just see things ripped up from the ground. There's grass growing where it should be growing, but there's also just jagged rocks sticking up, and it looks like someone went through a lot of effort to make it inaccessible. Not only will you need to gain entrance, you'll then need to safely walk through the lot. But Winnie's determined. And what does she do to get in?
Yeah, Winfred, she looks at the looks like the impossible task, and she'll take out her inhaler and get one puff up in there before she just like kind of like goes forward, try to see if there's is like maybe a a loose step that she can go into, like just to get towards the door, or if there's an open window that she can crawl into. That's like the main thing she's looking for right now.
Yeah. As you would be approaching, you would see that there's not many broken windows. This place seems structurally well maintained, which would definitely catch your attention. It's not that the area your school is located in is unsafe or that vandalism is common, but storms exist, animals are around, something has clearly torn up this lot, but the windows seem miraculously fully intact. The front door seems slightly off hinge, and you would expect that it would be sealed off, boarded up, something, but it's not. Instead, the doors sit, one door slightly turned, the other remaining in post, across from the parking lot, seemingly inviting you inside.
I think like Winnie is going to take out her crowbar and try to lift up the window.
Okay. Like one of the front windows?
Yeah.
Okay. The front window almost like next to the front door, or are you trying to get around the building in some capacity?
I'm trying to get around the building. She wants to create like basically two exits for herself just in case.
Okay, yeah. The easiest thing then for you would be to follow around the side, over to the right side of the building, where it seems connected in a hallway. You can imagine once you enter, a hallway would take you to this part of the building, a small, like, curved nook. And there's the chance that you could successfully open the door here. Not the door, the window. Let's have you roll for it. Let's just have it be a nice strength check. If you'd like to try and add anything to it, you are welcome to. The only reason I'm having you roll, for anyone unaware, this is using a modified system of them, a modified version of the MotherShip system. We are making it a solo player game, so a couple things are changed to make it more survivable and also to make it easier for a group dynamic. Rolls in MotherShip are not typically required unless there is a lot of chance of risk here. So in a normal situation, this wouldn't be something we necessarily roll for. However, using a crowbar to pry open a sealed window, if it goes too wrong, could have complications. There will not be as many rolls in this game as some other shows out there in the AP space, but when a roll comes in, the roll will matter. So what are you adding to this roll, if anything?
I don't know if I could add anything right now. I'm looking at either industrial equipment or archaeology is the only thing I could think.
I think either would work. Like the industrial equipment, because you're using your crowbar and like have a knowledge of where the weak points are, or archaeology. Like this is out exploring. It's like modern archaeology and exploring. I would allow either of those to be added to that strength roll.
Okay. Yeah, they're both plus 10, so either one.
Yeah. So we're trying to roll below a 50 here.
And that is a 53.
Okay, so you go to push it in, and I would like you to describe how you're trying to get through this window.
Yeah. So she'll get out her handy dandy crowbar out of her backpack and she'll try to find a loose in the opening of the window, and where she thinks she similarly finds one, she tries to jab it in, but she's not getting under at all.
Okay, and yeah, as you go to get under, it's a moment, and you'll take a point of stress here for a failed roll. Um, it seems for a moment as you make a connection and try to pry in, the lights in the building flicker up, and you hear a voice once more. Welcome to all visitors to the public access broadcasting station. And it gets cut off as the power dies back down. It seems, whether it was a timed event or not, trying to interrupt the walls has activated something inside. Getting you now a little stressed, yeah.
And it was Winnie would go, ah! And it falls backwards as she heard the sound landing on her butt, looking up at the window, being like, hello? Knowing that no one would hear her outside saying hello to a window.
Mhm. And indeed, no one responds. There doesn't seem to be any interior remarking to you. Also, you've noticed you've been here at this point about probably 10 minutes or so. There hasn't seemed to be an alarm triggered. There doesn't seem like anyone's watching this. It seems like this is abandoned land, and if something were to go wrong, you're not confident anyone would come to your rescue unless your group project members put in the effort and showed up.
Yeah, Winnie would quickly look around. She's still sitting on the ground for a moment just to see if anyone's messing with her. She quickly stands up, dusts off her skirt, pulling out her camcorder, and film inside the window real quick to see if she can catch that again, or if her camera picks up something if she looks through the lens of that.
Yeah. Looking through the camera, not of the current time, but of the time of the 90s where this is taking place, has that grainy effect to it that allows it to kind of see a little bit through the nighttime. Not quite dark vision, but able to pick up on things that you wouldn't normally be able to see. And this appears to be some sort of a waiting room. Along the back wall, probably the first thing your camera picks up, and maybe is a little bit startling to Winifred, is a wall of faces. Something that would be illuminated not quite by anything inside, but just by the camera finding the brightness of the room. None of them seem people you would recognize, and also none of them seem to be really maintained. It seems like weather in some capacity or something else has torn apart the pictures that were once in this frame. You'll also see that there's a vending machine inside. And despite the power being off, the vending machine seems to still have a faint glow to it. Maybe it's running on a backup generator, or maybe it's powered by something else. And besides that, there are a couple TVs, a couple chairs, and then a sign with a restroom. It appears to be like a waiting room or maybe a break room for people that once performed at the station.
Yeah. Winnie will looking through her camera, seeing all this, her eyes brightens up with excitement and wonder and curiosity
Mhm.
as she quickly turns off her camera and she's like, I have to get in there. Maybe I guess being the front door is kind of cliche, but I guess that's the only thing I could think of as she starts heading towards the front door.
Okay. Yeah, as you head through the front door, far easier to open. Doesn't even seem like a lock was placed on this place when it went away. If there was one, you don't see it now at the ground as if like someone needed to cut through it with wire cutters or anything. It just seems open. When you look inside, though, you can see the age that has affected the building. Not in the architecture or the shape, but the carpet's smell of mold. And you can see that mud has blown in under the door. The first couple of feet that you walk in is matted with leaves and some twigs. You can see the lines as water has gone in and snow has melted until the point that about 10 or so feet of carpet is dyed different colors of mold. But beyond that is a bright white carpet with red rugs, glass tables, suede chairs, and armrests that were definitely, of the time, amusing to people who would sit in here waiting. Some fake potted plants that still give an atmosphere of coziness to it, but also seeing a living greenery in a room of decay shows off just how long it's been since anyone's been in here, as the plants are still so coated with dust and cobwebs that they too look fake. And behind that, a desk where it seems that a woman is laying over, slumped down almost like a doll on the desk.
As Winnie walks in, she again pulls out her camcorder. She doesn't want to miss a single moment. And as she turns her camera towards the desk where the woman's at, she said that, and then she leans over to poke the body.
Mhm. As you poke the body, is it with your hand? Is it with your crowbar? What are you using to poke?
She's using her hand, one finger.
Okay. Yeah. As you poke with the one finger, it's metallic and clangs. This is something that you would maybe recognize from your childhood, but definitely from the TV of the time. They were trying to have androids as actors and actresses, not in any sort of realistic way, but just robots that were kid-friendly. And this receptionist seems to be one of those andro robots. As you poke her, her head twitches a little and the lights come on, and you see that she rights herself and sits up with a smiling grin. Doesn't say anything yet, but this robotic woman is just sitting staring at you.
Winnie jumps back. There's I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. She'll have the camcorder still up and running. Hello, I'm Winnie. Do you understand me?
And as you look, it seems that while interacting has reset, it doesn't seem like she's fully activated yet.
It's I think Winnie awkwardly stands there for a beat, hoping for something to happen before she'll turn off her camera and just gotta save her battery and her recording. As she if she could loop around the desk and see if there's anything that she'll notice about the robot or see or anything useful.
Yeah, as you loop around, it's a nice mahogany desk with the wood partitions on the front in a very foldable wall sort of way, except behind this desk you see that it's locked in. The desk is clean except for the environment around it. The mud has gone in through the air, through the dust, and is settled on, but you can see a single keyboard, a replica coffee cup that has probably never been drank out of, but it seems to be there simply to create the environment of a desk. You would see that there is a guide for Rosie the receptionist, which seems to be the name of this robot, and you see that her bottom half is cemented into the floor through a large box. From the other side of the desk, it looked like she had a full body that was slumped over, but behind here you can see she's just a torso with arms and a face locked into some sort of contraption keeping her in place, and the portfolio seems to have instructions on how to potentially turn her back on, if not get her going momentarily.
I think Winnie will get the instructions and see if this is something that she can do, is fix Rosie.
Yeah, make an intellect check, please.
I was would this be considered computers or hacking to you?
This feels more hacking.
Okay.
I think computer is direct, computer work, researching, activating terminals. Resetting this seems to be more hacking.
Okay. 68.
Okay, and you're trying to beat a 60. Okay.
Boo.
As you try, for a brief moment, you connect the wires, you connect it in the right way. Rosie turns on, but doesn't have a typical receptionist welcome to anything like that. Instead, you hear the voice mechanical and broken, as though the voice box has been coated in something, screaming, asking to die. She then grabs a stapler and smashes it through her head, collapsing to the ground, and you will take another point of stress.
Winnie, at that time, before the stapler incident, she'll run around a front to the desk with her camcorder to give an introduction of like Rosie of, all right, Miss Sampson's class. This is Rosie, the receptionist. I bet she like brightens everyone's day when this station was happening. Um, it was really interesting that the station has like androids around here. Uh, but I guess they did their jobs correctly. But I tried my best to turn her back on. And then like when he sees that like Rosie not acting correctly and to kill me, and the stuff, her heart starts racing more of what she's witnessing and seeing, and like she quickly like turns on the camera and be like, I'm so sorry, Rosie, I'm so sorry, Rosie. I and just like is standing there frozen in fear, being like, what is this place?
Mhm. While you're standing there frozen, the lights in the place are on. And part of it you didn't quite hear at the start because it was covered up by the sound of so many parts turning on. It seemed that when you interacted with Rosie for the first time, the whole place lit up. So the thumb of like boom, 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 different lights turning on, generators. Standing here now in a quiet panic, you also hear behind you the hum gently of a wall of tube-lit TVs. Those old-fashioned, like 1960s, 1970s TVs with long tubes running behind them, changing colors and gases to create images and shapes. And behind you seems to be an entire wall of them. There's also an open door leading to the hallway that, from your imagination outside, could probably wrap around to that waiting room.
Oh god. She jumps at the sound of like the first click of the lights, and then slowly turn around, seeing like everything brightens up almost like it's the first day of a new TV show happening. There's a lot of hurry up and waiting energy she's feeling right now. Um, as she's like walks forward to explore it. What was the options again of places to look?
Yeah, so still in the room with you, there are those like tables and chairs that you can interact with. They don't seem to have anything important. The only other thing that's changed from the power being on is a wall of tube-lit TVs behind you now, because it was like where Rosie would be facing.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the hallway leading towards the rest of the facility. You know it would lead to that break room, and you would imagine it would lead elsewhere as well.
I think she would look at the TVs first, see if there's
Okay.
anything happening with those.
Yes. As you approach them, they seem to be stuck in a static, replaying itself over and over again. The image of a like presenter, some gentleman man's face from a long time ago, smiling in a twisted grin as though he was just impaled or had just been hurt, and then flickering back to right before he was hurt, and then smiling again, flickering back to right before he was hurt, playing on a loop. And then for a brief second, it flickers on and off. And you think for a second maybe the power has gone back out again. Until you see that the distance between you and the TVs, almost like the static from the tubes, has manifested into a person. A humanoid shape, created of void and static, stands between you and the TVs, just staring. It doesn't seem to have a face. It doesn't seem to have any discernible features. It just seems like a void gently outlined by the gray of TV snow. And after a brief second, the power readjusts itself and the TVs are back to that man, staring at the camera, smiling, and then being impaled. Staring at the camera, smiling, and then being impaled, replaying again and again on loop.
Winnie is horrified at what she's seeing. She's like, "Did I? What was in my inhaler? I think we have to go. I have to go. I can't do this alone." And she tries to turn around to like find an exit to leave again, to like go back to where she was so she can leave the building.
Yeah, you're still in the welcoming room. There is the exit door right there if you would like to step outside.
Yeah, I think Winnie's gonna try to like step outside.
Yeah. As you go, there doesn't seem to be anything preventing you from leaving, but you never stop having that feeling there's something right behind you. That if you were to turn around, there would be someone watching, or if you were to look in a mirror, someone would be standing with you in your reflection. and the closer you get to the exit, the stronger that sense feels.
Yeah, she tried to pick up her pace, and then next you know she like drops her camera, and she's just like freaks out for a moment. She's like, she's like my homework, and then she like turns around to try to come pick it up.
Easy enough. I will give you a point of stress. This is a terrifying situation.
Yeah.
Anyone would be stressed in this, but no roll required, and nothing needed to go back and pick up your camera. As you turn around, though, to pick it up, you do see the light from the hallway almost beckoning. It looks so warm. It's not a modern, like, thick, bright lit LED. It's an old-fashioned incandescent bulb lighting the hallways. It has that gentle golden light to it. You can hear distantly the sounds of stations turning back on, their content being produced again for possibly the first time in ages. You're welcome to leave, but there's a lot to be explored in here.
Yeah. Winnie, as she was like on her knees about the picking up the camera, making sure like everything looks fine with it, not broken, and as the light basically shining on her face, and she sounded like almost like a in studio audience around her. Is there actually real people here, or is it more androids? I have to get my A for this assignment and answer this town mystery. Oh, people will recognize me if I get this correctly. Like if I figure this out, this mystery. Like she's contemplating in her brain right now. Like if she leaves, she feels like a failure. But if she keeps going, she's achieving something. She will achieve something great, grander than her.
And another question to ponder as we're thinking through, what would be the result of this class if you don't turn in your assignment on time?
Winnie has a thought about this. If she doesn't turn in this, and her whole group would be upset at her, even if it didn't show up. But they all have a lot of faith in her. She's the like wants to be a director when she grows up, filmographer. She wants to do documentaries, and she fails this, and she feels like she won't be able to show her face in the industry ever again.
Okay. So with all of these thoughts racing, do you walk through the front door or continue down the hallway?
She'll do a very deep swallow as she stands up, and she'll continue down the hallway towards the light.
As you go down, the bright lights above, the same incandescent bulbs, gently pulsing, well lit. You could see that at one point this place was clearly loved. It has a very upsettingly colored red carpet that you think has to have always looked bad, but maybe it was fine at one point. The sides of it have half walls that have this like old wood feature to it, set up to a spot that it can go halfway up the wall where it has a little ledge. Beyond that, a hexagonal pattern of reds and yellows and oranges, just different shapes forming the walls. Very of the time it opened, not the time it closed, not the time now. The wallpaper seems to be maintained but not well. It seems as though something has over time gone beneath it maybe and caused parts of it to bubble. It could be the wind sweeping in from the open door up front. This hallway's not far off, but it could also be something with like a power surge. You wouldn't know how it would happen with the light as it is now, but you've seen the power flickering, and there's a chance that just these changes have caused the walls to maybe get a little less safe than they are. As you look down, you could easily turn to your right and go to the waiting room that you've observed already, but you also see overhead illuminated lights pointing forward, indicating to you that there are multiple auditoriums, that there are green rooms, there are broadcast stations, there are offices, and then there are a couple that seem to like point to studios, but they don't say like studio 1, 2, or 3, they just say studios and don't elaborate. Is there anything you'd want to go to first?
I think with Winnie, Winnie would go to the studios first.
Okay. Making your way then down the hallway, the studio sign will point you into one of the auditorium. As you reach the auditorium, it's very similar to anything you would have on campus and to any other studio tour you've ever done. It is a main stage in front of you with several tiered seats behind, almost like a movie theater, except for the fact that the entrances are in the middle of the seats and then seats continue behind you as well as below you. In front of you is a now stage. It doesn't seem like anything's performed here recently, and the air seems really stale. It's very dark. It's inside of here. The spotlights come on as if a crew was to enter. However, no crew enters. Instead, there's just a light shining specifically in the middle of the stage. And here you are. A room waiting for spectacular, waiting for grandeur, waiting for life, but doesn't seem like there's any in here.
She'll turn on her camera once more and, all right, Miss Sampson's class, I found a studio, all pre-lit, ready to go, like a performance is about to happen here soon. And then Winnie will walk where the light is, the spotlight is, and stand there for a moment to film out of the audience area.
As you film out over the audience, looking through the small window on your camera, you can swear that there are people watching, that the seats are filled. You see families, you see children, you see adults here on dates, you see just a whole audience of people watching. None of them are there in front of your eyes, but on the camera you swear they're watching you. And as you get closer to the chair, it seems less like something used in a theatrical production and more something that they would use in a medical operating theater, something they would use to help people through surgery, not something that would be comfortable, and definitely something that has restraints on it. Unsure whether they're automated restraints like Rosie was, or if they are things people need to tie down. But it would be strange that this was here, and it's even stranger that there seems to be this spectral audience watching, whether it's a trick of the light or not.
Yeah, Winnie will look back up at the empty stage, then back down the cameras, looking at the audience, like settling down, waiting for her to say something or do something. She does that a couple more times, looking up, then down, and up and down. And she just like rubs her eyes for a moment. She's like, "Am I losing it?" She'll move her camera around to the left of her to see if there was any other people that she sees besides the audience, anyone that's meant to be on the stage that's not her.
No one that you see in the physical space, but your camera never stops showing these static audience, both in static and stuck in time, but also static in terms of literally made of displaced TV static.
She'll use her camcorder and point it up at the audience and try to communicate with them, and says, "Who are you? What are y'all here to watch?"
Yeah. As you try and communicate with them, you hear kind of out loud, but mostly through the speaker of your camera, it sounds like they're applauding. They are excited that you have interacted with them. They are excited that you're here on stage. They're ready for whatever comes next.
After hearing the applause, she's just continuing to look behind her, around her, try to figure out what was entertaining. Did she miss the show? Is it even a show? She tried to be polite to the whatever she's looking at, spirits, robots, trick of the mind. She'll bow, and then she'll quickly get off stage.
Okay. As you get off stage, it settles. The clapping sound leaves your ears. You don't hear it so much crackling out of the speakers of your camera either. You also don't see the studio entrances. You saw the sign pointing that they're through here, but you haven't seen it. There doesn't seem to be a backstage area. There doesn't seem to be a way behind the curtain except for a concrete wall behind you. Seems as though they're missing in some capacity.
She'll take note of this and be like, fascinating that there's no other doors. Guess there's only one way out. It's the way she came in. And she turns around and leaves out, unless there's anything that she missed that will keep her, that can make her stay.
Nothing here. And also you haven't felt that but that presence watching you so much since you've been in here. It didn't really feel safe because of the spectral audience, but you haven't felt as much as though you're being loomed over. And as you approach the exit, it comes back. It doesn't feel threatening. It doesn't feel aggressive. But once again, the closer you get to the main part of the building, the more something seems to be attaching itself to you.
She just like rubs the back of her neck for a moment, just feeling that uncertainty again with her. She heads, I guess she heads back to the waiting area to see if there's another direction to go.
Yeah. As you head to the waiting room, making your way back up that hallway, the hallway seems a little different. It's almost imperceptible to the eye, and it's only when you start looking at the patterns. They used to be hexagons. You could have sworn they were hexagons. Now they seem to be pentagons, as though the wallpaper has all lost part of its side and has slowly morphed since you saw it last. Again, could be just your eyes. Could be something else.
She feels like it's almost like a Mandela effect for her. It's just like, it feels different here. But maybe I'm wrong. I can check back footage later, compare, but I'm pretty sure something changed. She's talking to herself, walking around again, seeing anything else change or any other place open that she probably missed.
The waiting room is still to your side and the most accessible thing here. Anything else will be further down, but you know there are the offices, there are the green rooms, there are some of the sound stages back that way. And you don't necessarily hear the sound of a live studio audience like you did at the start when everything clicked up and thumbed to life. But it sounds like there is stuff to be found that way. The waiting room is still the closest though, and it does, you've seen, have a spot to collect your thoughts, a spot to sit down if you feel like that's what Winnie needs in the moment, or you're welcome to go further in.
I think she will sit down for a moment to recollect herself. She has gained a lot of stress.
Yeah, nice. As you go and sit in, you walk in. This is clearly from the interior now. You can tell intended for visitors. It could be used as a break room, but one, it doesn't have like the typical break room amenities, and two, you now know the layout more, and it seems like the break room would be further back, not so much right at the front. All the things you saw from the outside remain fixed, right where they were. If there is any sort of anomaly happening in the hallway, it hasn't affected this room. The paintings are there, the vending machine is there, still on. Unclear what's powering it, but still on. The thing that has turned on, however, is that chair sitting near the TVs. The TVs are now all broadcasting a quiet, gentle glow. No images move on them yet, but you can tell that they're warming up to show something because it has that quiet, light blue, light gray glow of a TV right before it turns on for the first time. Is there anything you'd want to check out first?
I think she'll look at the TV for a moment to see like anything changes and stuff. As she's taking a deep breath.
Okay. Gathering your thoughts for a second, allowing yourself to breathe. You look down, and it's hard to describe what you would see, not because the images don't make sense, but because the images just aren't anything. They're shades of colors warping over themselves. They're characters from the time here from the show, but not their bodies or their heads. It just seems to be the concept of their faces stretched across the screen as quiet laugh tracks play in the background. Nothing is said, but there's a chair. If you'd like to observe it, you're welcome to sit and watch, or if you want to leave it alone and go somewhere else. It seems to be it reacted to you coming into the room as nothing was playing before you got here.
At this time, I think she'll leave it be. And she'll head towards that vending machine to see if there's anything in it or what's going on with it.
Okay. On your way to the vending machine, please roll me a d10.
Oh. 8.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Oh.
You walk up to the vending machine, and it seems functional. It doesn't seem to have what you would expect, though, as it's not stocked with snacks and food and everything. It seems to have a wide variety of items in there. It seems to have anything from restorative things to useless items to snacks to weapons. Why a store like this, while a public broadcasting station like this would need weapons in their guest room is beyond you. But it has a dial that you can insert some credits to, and if you hit the button, it seems like it will dispense something.
I think she will try it out.
Okay. Please roll me another d10.
8.
An 8. As you do, you see this like Rolodex inside slowly rotating, very similar to the way that items would be moved through a jukebox and records would be picked before placing down. And you see on a full display, it has a nail gun, it has a flashlight, it has a lockpick set, a healing pack, a pack of cigarettes, a crowbar, a first aid kit, some paracord, and a combat shotgun. And that seems to be what's going to come up until it does one final click, and in front of you, almost mockingly, is a well-modeled foam gun. Something you would give to a child for them to play space cadets with. Entirely useless for any other reason, as far as you can intuit.
She sighed and just said, this is some kind of joke, right? Foam gun? Why would this vending machine even have weapons? I guess this is like the most practical thing to be in there. And then she'll pocket it in her back pocket as her score.
Yeah. And after a second, the light in it turns back on, and it seems you're welcome to use it again if you would like.
I think not yet, not for a second time.
Okay.
She'll leave out, and I guess she will head back towards the studios to find another way to the next room over.
And something I had mentioned from outside but forgot to mention in here, there's also a closed door to a bathroom in here, if you were wanting to check that out.
Yeah, sure, right now. Let's check out the restroom first.
Okay. As you open it up, it's broken. Not much in this place has seemed broken. It seemed decrepit, but it hasn't seemed broken. And here it's a single restroom, a toilet collapsed, a sink broken down, the porcelain of both shattered on the ground, and where the mirror would be is a black hole. Not in terms of like painted black or not seemingly there. It seems as though there's something that reality can't locate where the mirror should be.
I think Winnie will like stare at the black hole for a moment, keeping her distance, being like, did somebody spray paint this? And she's like, I did have to go use the restroom, but I'm probably gonna end up holding this.
And as you think, like, did somebody spray paint it? Your eyes glance over it, and if it was flat, it would look flat from all angles. But here, as you just kind of move your eyes across it and you turn your head a little to the left and right, it seems to have depth as this hole stretches into something. There's nothing beyond this wall. You've seen the layout of it. It has to be the back wall of the break room that you were just in, but this hole seems to go somewhere. It's also absorbing all of the light that is being gently put from the bulbs and TVs and equipment around you. This bathroom not having all of that, just a single overhead light that's well lit for the room you're in, but it doesn't seem to be penetrating the hole at all. The hole just seems to be there.
She'll move closer to the hole and closer as she reaches her hand out, just to like help her get peace of mind that this isn't here, and sees what happens to her hand.
Do you touch it?
Yes.
As you go to touch it, your hand keeps going. Do you continue reaching, or do you stop as soon as you would not hit the wall?
So she continues to reach it?
Well, as you would reach out, and you know where the wall would be, nothing's there. You can keep reaching if you would like, or you could stop where you know, where your brain says, this is where it can't go past, but your body and your eyes and reality are telling you it does. Would you reach just a little further, or do you stop there?
She'll reach a little bit further.
Okay. As you do, something moves inside. You can't see it, but you hear the soft wind of movement, and then you feel something hard pressed into your hand. Something you'd be familiar with as you're experiencing them on a daily basis, but not something you would ever have handed to you from a hole behind a once mirror. As you feel the familiar shape, a rectangle with two spokes on it and a bit of tape on one side, and you pull back and you see that something or someone has handed you a VHS tape, and where the label once was has been crossed off and taped over, and in very clear, large letters, capitalized, says, "Do not watch."
She'll blink rapidly as she just now went to the restroom, wanted to pee, and now is leaving out with a VHS tape that says "Do not watch." She clearly feels like she is losing her mind right now, but the curiosity is beating that thought more of like what is going on and what is this tape and how can she even watch this tape.
Yeah, and as you ponder that thought, turning to leave, you swear you hear something calling to you. Be safe, Winnie. But over your shoulder's nothing there.
Like she'll blink a few times and looking around like hearing that, and she's like, it's just a trick of the mind, it's just a trick of the mind, everything's been weird here. It's I probably just been here too long, or I shouldn't have pulled out all-nighter.
There has been a lot weird here. And this is a weird event. The rest have been potentially defined by your eyes or you're tired. That can't explain something being handed to you from a void behind a wall. Can I get a panic check, please? What is your current stress level?
I think 5.
Okay, so you're just hoping to get a 6 or higher.
Okay, and then that's a D6?
D20.
D20, okay. And I want a 6 or higher.
Correct, yep.
18.
Okay, an 18. It doesn't feel great, but you settle your mind. You allow yourself a little bit of time. You allow yourself to rationalize. It has to have been the sleep deprivation. It has to have been something. Maybe there wasn't a hole there. Maybe it was a shelf. Mirrors often will have medicine cabinets. It could have been placed on a shelf. Something real has to have happened. And you steel your mind, holding the the VHS tape still, stealing your mind, returning to the lobby room.
She'll still head towards actually with the tape, she's gonna head back to the TV with the frozen stuff and see if there's a way to insert the tape there.
Yes, the one that has like the strange like images moving, or the one that has the man frozen. Yeah, there is a clear like on top VHS reader if you would like to put it in.
Yeah, she'll put it in.
Okay. As you enter the VHS reader with a tape clearly labeled "Do Not Watch," the screen shifts. The image is no longer showing half thoughts and concepts and images that are stretched beyond their imagination. Instead, you see you sitting as though a camera is behind you, and you see that sense sitting behind you, except you can see it now. And it's that static being, the one you saw between yourself and the TV, and it's there, and it's looming over you, and you can see it behind you. As you're sitting there, this thing, seeing you see it through the TV screen, it seems to be watching you with an intense curiosity, as though it's not sure your purpose, it's not sure why you're here, it's maybe not sure how you're here, but it also might not be aware of who or what you are. This creature seems to be made up of static and light and electricity. It has a human shape, but that could just be mimicking what it has always seen. You're not sure if it itself is human. And then it reaches out and gently places a hand on you. And you feel almost like when your limbs fall asleep, that static sinking into your shoulder. Would you like to try and run away, or would you like to accept it?
Winnie is too frozen right now to think about running away at this time.
Okay. Then you will take 5 stress. And I will need a panic check from you, please.
Ah! 5 stress.
5 stress, yep.
I got a... Wait, I get advantages. Right?
Yep, you have once per session you can give yourself advantage if you would like to do it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
My girl's going through it. 16.
Okay, and what's your current stress?
10.
Okay. So you do not panic. You do not go into a full-blown loss. You do not go into a complete breakdown here as this creature sits with you. You have, however, taken the 5 stress, and this thing is directly interacting with you. You feel it sinking in. You feel your shoulder going staticky, and then it moves up into your neck, and then it slowly goes through your jaw until you feel it in your head. And then you feel a brief moment of calm as it's messing with your mind, but it doesn't feel like it's hurting you. It feels like it's guiding you. And you see images in your head that say, manager's office, manager's office, manager's office. And it seems to be telling you you have to go there. And even though you then watch yourself have it take its hand off of you and return to standing right behind you, that thought never leaves your head.
Manager's office.
As you are possessed currently.